welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're going to talk about some satin embroidery floss. Now, I'm not sure that the camera really picks up just how enticing this string really is. It is, it just shimmers in the light. I'm sure it just doesn't do it justice. The stuff is soft to the touch. It is what you would think would make for some really amazing projects. And I have to say that I was shamed into making this video because somebody went and bought a bunch of this stuff, paid a bunch of good money for it, only to then go, wait, why can't I use it? Why is this not working? And I knew why it wasn't working and was able to say, well, yeah, it's satin. That's what satin does. And like, wait, you knew this and you never made a video? So here I am today making a video to explain why this stuff is as troublesome as it is and why I have as much as I do. So let's start with, why is this stuff troublesome? Well, it's super smooth. You can feel, like, just touching it, it just feels so soft. And the problem there is when you tie a knot, you need the friction of the rope itself to cause the two pieces to kind of latch to each other. When you try to tie a knot with this, it almost instantly starts to want to come undone, which is obviously problematic if you're trying to make anything, especially if you're going to try to make anything of a reasonable size. So that's where the trouble begins. It also should be stated that it's so slippery that it can, unless your kumi disc is relatively new, it will slide through there. So you constantly having to make adjustments as you're going along to help keep the tension, even for a kumi bracelet. So, and just for a little bit of shine, you're not really worth it. You're going to pay a premium on this. Now, I kind of knew this going into when I went and bought this. But then here was my problem. I wanted to make some of my small bags, right? So I wanted to make small bags like these, right? And how I would have done that would be I would have combined it with regular embroidery floss. The thing is when I went to this company and ordered this, they said, it'd be 8 meters of, say, this dark purple or 8 meters of this bright yellow. They didn't lie. I'll give them credit. They didn't lie. They gave me 8 meters, but they gave me 8 1-meter lengths. Now, from my other projects and all the times I've mentioned it, when I cut my string rather long. And because, I can't really add the string, especially with this, right? I can't add it into the project while I'm working on it. So I needed at least 2-meter long pieces, not one. And as a result, I've had this for a couple of years now, at least. And I don't have much of a use for it. I have played around with it. You can tie knots yourself. This right here is made. You can't really tell how extra shiny or how much more the colors pop through the camera, but it's nice. However, this is obviously really small, because string is small. That's all what it comes down to. There's not much I could do about it. And tying this was a nightmare. It's really super difficult. If you're going to try it, you need patterns that kind of lock it in place easily. Like this. When you get to the bottom of this row, that one knot is really holding everything in place above it. But what I did here, and why this one kind of worked out, is that this is half cotton and half satin floss. We have a blue with the blue. We have kind of a beigeish, sort of brownish color with the orange, which is kind of giving it sort of I don't know if you can see that. It's a kind of a fiery looking effect, and the yellow with the yellow. And this works just fine. If you want to mix it with a cotton, 1 for 1 to double up your string, this will work fine. However, and of course, how could it go so great? You will notice at the end, here, let's get these out of the way. At the end, it just comes apart. Now, you might not know this, but regular cotton embroidery floss has 6 strands in it. And what holds the 6 strands together is they've been kind of twisted, and that sort of makes it kind of grab upon itself and kind of, it's almost like a braid unto itself. But this stuff is so slippery that it doesn't even want to cling to its other little strands. So as the more you go down, with making the knots, the more it frays apart. Now this, it's not a deal breaker. It'll still knot and it'll still look fine. And you can simply, check this out. You take your finger, roll it around once, and then roll this off and pull, you get a little knot down here. And that knot is all you really need to keep it from fraying apart. So you could do that on all of your different strands, and that is not really a problem any longer. But that said, I mean, you're paying a premium for a shine that realistically on here I can't tell the difference between the cotton and the satin at this point. So the what you went and used and made everything all difficult about kind of loses some of the glamour when you actually like tone it down with what makes it work. Um, Mind you, if you have a brand new Kumi disc, you might make a Kumi and it'll look nice and shiny and stuff. It's just going to take you more effort. And obviously, the satin string costs more. So there's some things to take into account if this is something you're going to try. Um, I personally would not recommend it. I don't see it as being that great of a payoff, even with this being 100% satin. Um, it's just it's I don't know. You can use like a rayon. I took rayon thread and put it into a rope making thing that spins it into string, and was able to turn that into bracelets. In fact, that's one of the bracelets I wear. I've been trying to see how long this thing will last. This is already like almost 2 years old now, and it's holding up just fine. Um, that was shiny, but the shininess kind of wore off, and now it's just flat colors. So there's that. That said, I mean, if your customers like shiny things and you want to use it, then again, you can mix it with cotton. You can fight with it. It's super difficult. I don't recommend it personally, but I mean, if that's what you really want to try, um, maybe it helps you get a few sales. But I think your pricing should definitely include how much more difficult it is. So a $10 bracelet might be $15 or something, because it is that much harder to work with. I certainly I did not enjoy this at all. This was some serious work. Um, and as far as like this stuff with 1 meter long, I don't see much of a use for it. If it was 2 meters, I could at least, kick out some kind of bracelet or something. But at 1 meter long, the best I can do is make keychains. And I don't really see that as being a big seller in my shop. So it'll sit until I can find some kind of reason for it. And hopefully you guys have learned something about it. You guys got, some knowledge. Maybe you avoid it. Maybe you head straight out and get some. I don't know. Leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch. But hey, before I go, I want to thank my Patreon users once again. You guys make this stuff possible. I've had this string for a long time, so it wasn't like a big expense, but you guys have definitely helped make this channel what it is. So I got to say thank you to all my Patreon subscribers. If you're interested in joining and seeing my videos early, then head over to Patreon, and the username is AKAAWOL, of course. All right. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.